So what if we record this to the cloud and we can't find it in the cloud?
Then it has to rain and come back down. I don't even know what the cloud is. I don't understand the cloud. It's like heaven to me. I can't see it.
Speaking of heaven,
Speaking of heaven, today we're going to talk about it.
welcome to the Zen Den. I am Camille Nelsen, military medium. This is Lexi.
I'm Lexi. I'm joining for a few episodes. Camille is my hopeful mother-in-law. No Marine at this time, but she already feels like a mother to me. So yeah, I'm happy to join.
We're family.
Yeah.
So it's just the two of us, and we're welcoming you into the space with us. And thank you so much for watching and being with us. We just thought we would just sit here and hang out, and you can hang out with us, and we'll have fun. And we're goofy, so you might get laugh.
Lots of laughs. Lots of laughs. Lots
So,
of joy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So a little bit about me, if anybody cares, like who cares, but
I care.
Thank you.
Tell me everything.
I've got one.
Her background is so cool and all over the place in the best way possible.
Yeah. So all over the place. Well, it started in Pensacola, Florida, where I was born. My dad was a Marine. He was in flight school. He flew CH-46s. He ended up with HMM 265 in Vietnam. So I was a little girl, and really the first two songs that I ever knew were Jesus Loves Me and the Marines Hymn.
You were raised right.
I was so yeah, born into the Corps, and then I married into the Corps. So
it's just a part of you.
It
always will be.
I bleed dress blues. What can I say?
Yeah. We have the bear in the background, the Marine bear.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I remember when I met Eric, and I didn't just meet him. I told my dad, I said, guess what? I'm going to marry this guy named Eric, and he's a Marine. And my dad goes, no. He's like, have I not taught you anything? And I'm like, but he's awesome. So yeah, married into the Corps, and we have been serving for 30-some years.
Longer than I've been. Wow.
Now I feel old. Thank you very much.
I'm out. I get the boot. I'm almost 30. Almost there.
So having had a dad who was in Vietnam and did not talk about it very much made me very curious about what exactly did he do.
How old were you when he was in Vietnam?
2.
Wow.
Oh God, I just gave away my age. Wow. No, you know what? He was in Vietnam in like the 70s.
She's 35. You look it. That's such good skin.
Thank you. Fabulous.
Seriously.
Anyway, so I've studied a lot about Vietnam, read many books and studied for years, and actually had a group of helicopter crew and pilots that are Marines, actually formed this group, and we were called Semper Fi Marine Veterans. And initially we were Semper Fi Vietnam veterans, but there were Marines that came in after Vietnam, so we opened it, and I actually did a newsletter for them. And
oh my gosh,
so it was awesome. But I learned all kinds of things, and I know a lot about. I can tell you about helicopters, and I can tell you
hot air balloons.
Oh, the hot air balloons.
Yeah,
that's a thing. Yeah. So after my dad got out of the Corps, we actually had hot air balloons. We actually owned 5 hot air balloons. Wow. And the first FAA recognized hot air balloon port in the country. It was in Fox River Grove, Illinois. And I think that balloon port ended up becoming Windy City Balloon Port. And
is that still around?
No.
Okay.
I'm sure the land is still there, but I think they got shut down. But we were long gone after that. But
you didn't even have the chance to be afraid of heights.
No.
How could you be?
And the really neat thing, our very first hot air balloon was called Eagle 2. And my dad and his business partner, they designed the balloon. and of course it's, red, white, and blue. And Eagle 2 actually was in Albuquerque back when it was still called not the Balloon Fiesta. It's Hot Air Balloon Festival. So this was 1973, 74. And a man named Denny Floden actually flew Eagle 2 and set records. So it was history. It was either the first or second ever hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque. And then my dad flew Eagle 2 the next year. So, really cool, really cool. My dad is actually, my dad and Jerry were the first 2 hot air balloon pilots in Illinois.
How do you
Did you know that about me?
No, I didn't. I feel like I know a lot of facts, but that is really cool. So your dad was almost like he was kind of famous for your town, it sounds like.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you grow up in a big city?
No. So I grew up outside of Chicago, at least the beginning part of my life. So
just outside of Chicago.
Through till I was 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago suburbs. I don't still say Chicago, but
I never thought about that. There's a little, well, compared to here in Indiana, there is like a little accent.
There's
if
a little
you're
accent
from the
yeah.
city.
The Bears, but
The Bears. Is that Mike Ditka?
yes.
Okay. All right. I know. I'm a Colts fan. Indianapolis Colts. Lead blue.
So it was Illinois, and then actually, you guys, I mean, it was like, how lucky am I? After that, I moved to the Caribbean, and I lived on Barbados for 5 years. So
Barbados.
So your girl went to high school in Barbados. It was amazing.
Do you feel like you kind of grew up on the beach then?
Yeah, I grew up on the beach.
Do you miss it?
Yes, I do. I'm in Indiana.
Yeah. Closest beach is Indiana Beach, and that's not even
I'm sure
really.
it counts somewhere, but yeah, literally our house was up on a hill, and I could see the south coast of Barbados. So I could see out to the ocean, and there were like Sundays they do sailboat races or whatever, but really neat to grow up in another culture.
Yeah. And you lived with your mom there, who was very, very special to you. Tell us about your mom.
I love my mom. So my mom recognized that as a kid, I could see angels, and I'm not talking like, ooh, I see angels, but she knew that I knew they were there. So I feel them, I can see the outline. So she knew that there was something special. And back then it was called ESP. Ooh.
Okay, I've heard of ESP.
Ooh, you have ESP. Now it's just called psychic, which that's a term that I really, because I grew up in a church. So that's, to me, that's a little harsh, but saying that I'm an intuitive medium feels better, because I think we're all intuitive. We're all intuitive. It's just a matter of, do you pay attention to it or not? But my mom would, we would sit like this in the living room, and my mom would say, okay, I'm going to think of an object, and now tell me about it. And so I would have to describe this to her, and what does it feel like? What does it look like? What are the textures? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it move? Is it stationary? So all of those things led up to, what you see here today. But I think she knew, and she really fostered that spirituality.
Did you see your mom embracing that spirituality herself before you discovered you had it? Like, did you witness your mom kind of tapping into those same things?
I don't know. I know she was interested in astrology, but she always told me that I was special.
And she is.
She lied.
No. Our mom, moms know best. And moms can sometimes, a lot of the times, see the reality of things before you even can.
Yeah. And I think she sensed it for sure. And then, I talked a lot about wanting to learn more and knowing what else is out there. And I actually had the honor, the pleasure of studying some really cool things with some really cool people in Barbados. And yeah, I was just telling Lexi that
This story will never get old.
This-
Never.
so I actually met 3 Rastafarian gentlemen, and I actually studied a lot of philosophy and spirituality with them. And it was amazing. And I learned about astral travel. And here I am, like 17, 18, 19 years old, you know, when you're like starting to go, ooh, what else is out there? This sounds cool. I want to get involved. I want to know. And so one day, we're on the beach, and there's one of the teachers is sitting, there's a picnic table and there's a bench here, and he's sitting on the bench looking out at the ocean, and I'm walking up from behind, and he doesn't see me, and I'm tiptoeing because he's doing this class thing here on the beach. It's so cool. Just do everything on the beach.
You got this done. You have the
Studying,
water,
yeah.
you have everything you
All
need.
the elements that we need. So I walk up and I sat down very quietly, you know, at the picnic bench behind him. And I just see his head tilt, and he said, so he goes, the most beautiful angel just walked up and sat down behind me. And, you know, I mean, that was really cool. He knew, we vibed. He just, you know, it's not, he didn't see me, but he felt my vibration, and he knew that I was welcoming and he was welcoming. So it made studying there very beautiful, very sacred. And yeah, there's no part of the other world that I don't believe, you know, except I don't think it's evil.
So repeat the group again. One more time.
It's Rastafarian.
Rastafarians.
Yes.
Is there any way to
This
keep
is how
in
you talk
contact?
when you're in Indiana.
Yeah, the first time learning about this today, but I'm really amazed because we think that all of the cultures are at our fingertips.
Yeah.
We can see them all, but I don't think we can, because not everybody puts themselves out into technology and out to the world.
Right.
So
And who wants to learn? I mean, really, we just go through our lives,
yeah.
you know, and you just don't even realize that there's other cultures and other religions and other ways of thinking. And the ones that I studied with were very conscious about everything they put in their bodies. So, you know, they would only eat like real food. There was no junk food. There was no smoking of anything.
Contrary to what you may believe. Nothing.
Maybe, but not my teachers, not my mentors. And we would study, you know, the Bible, and they would tell me, okay, this is what you're being told in church, but this is what it actually means. And they were very, they taught me that we are all connected, and that we are as much a part of the spirit world as it is a part of us, and that we're all energy. And then, so here I am now 40 years later, I mean, 20 years later. But
Look at that skin.
no filter, you guys.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Here either.
She woke up like this.
I did. I mean, when your hair is 2 inches long, you don't have to worry about it.
Not much maintenance.
So yeah, so that all led to, I remember being right around, you know, the same age, 17, 18, 19. And I would have people come to me and they would say, I just bought a new car. Will you bless the car?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or I just moved into a new place. Will you come and bless my new home? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Me?
Yeah.
But I think other people, and really, I mean, there are so many churches in Barbados. There's like more churches per square foot there than like any other country in the world. There are so many churches there. So it's a very but it's a very spiritual culture anyway. So I think that really helped me.
You're able to cultivate that intuitiveness because you had not just the support, but the guides around you and all the teachers. And so
And think about that.
Yeah.
Like, think about, there's no such thing as coincidence. So what did we have to go through? My life had to go from Chicago to Barbados. What? And then to this certain beach that I was always on, to that's where these mentors were. That's where these teachers were. So all these things had to fall in line just exactly right to make sure that I got the teaching I needed right when I needed it the most. And I think maybe I was open enough to it.
Did you ever have anybody, because obviously it's super fantastic that your mom first recognized this and really embraced it and cultivated and helped you follow this path. Did you ever have any extended family members or anyone in Barbados who looked down on you or thought like it was, taboo, arbitrary, anything like that? Where do I start?
Really, my whole time there, no. There was no, everybody there. Really, there is nothing creepy whatsoever, I don't think, about me.
Not at all. Not at all.
So I was really treated with a lot of respect there. And it wasn't until some of the very religious people in my family heard me like actually start using the term medium, when I fully started going, okay, I don't just have ESP, I don't just see angels for the fun of it, oh, this is a thing and I can deliver messages that are accurate. Well, that's called being a medium. And so I started using the word medium, which if you guys are scared of the word, look at me. There's nothing to be scared of, right? Like,
we're in her house.
It is all good vibes to me. It is all positive and one love, and we're all connected, and it's all about healing. And so yes, I have had somebody who I love very dearly say, I have to break ties. And cleaning that up for you guys, but it's not for everybody, and that's okay. That's okay. That's part of my journey. That's part of their journey, and I'm not going to step on what they believe in and what's sacred to them. So okay, that's moving on. And does it hurt? Yeah. When I go, really, this runs in our family. Apparently back to my great grandma, so, but it's, again, there's no such thing as coincidence. And it's one more thing that I've gone through that maybe I can help somebody else with somewhere down the road. So,
and I think there are people who, when you share what you do, some people automatically are like, yes, I want a reading, I want to talk to you, tell me more. But you've also experienced people who are still reserved for a while before they're willing to be open to that, and you give them that grace. You don't judge them. You recognize it can be very tough and an interesting experience, and not everyone is going to be eager to open up to that.
Oh, well, true. But what I've seen is, and a lot of us talk about this, is that I would say, especially the last 5 years, excuse me, if not like maybe the last 10 years, we have become more open to these other modalities of healing, energy healing. I'm a Reiki practitioner, master level Reiki practitioner. So that's energy healing. And it's not creepy, this is all divine energy. And but I think as a whole, the world, we need so much healing right now. Excuse me. So with that, all of us who are these, natural born healers, which really, you guys, you're a healer too. I think we all are. We can all do kindness. We can all do things to help heal somebody's day somewhere. But I think we're becoming more open to it. And I think it's becoming more normal.
Yeah, more mainstream.
More mainstream. Yeah.
Thank
So
goodness.
like, are you embarrassed to say, oh, I talk to a medium, or, I'll go see a psychic, or I go get Reiki done. I mean, would that be embarrassing for you to tell your friends, or does it feel kind of normal?
No, well, it feels normal now. I was only just opened up to this world when I met you. So, and that was 4 years ago.
Wow. Oh my God, already?
4 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah. So before, maybe it would have been strange, kind of how I grew up in a small town, grew up in the church, only heard the myths and only heard the negative side of these things. So before wouldn't have been normal. Now it's very normal, and not even normal to my day to day, but I'm very proud to talk about it because I've been through readings, and I have felt the benefits, and I've had family members who have too. So I hand her business cards out. I've handed them out at work. I've handed them out to friends. So the whole part of me just rambling and so I'm curious to know, when you met your husband, when you met Eric, you were in DC at the time, correct?
In Virginia. Yep.
Virginia. Yep. How soon did you tell him about this part of your life, and how did he react?
Well, all right. So back then I wasn't even, this is like 100 years ago, you guys. So I wasn't even really doing anything with the gifts and the abilities. I wasn't really doing anything. But it was pretty early on in the relationship when he was going to go help do an office move. Okay, so he's a young Marine, and there was office movers that a bunch of the young Marines would work for, and they would go and move offices after work. And it was a great way to make like $100, which is a lot of money back in the olden days. So,
$100 I get excited about now. So
yeah. So this one time he was getting ready to go, and I just started getting really jittery, and I got so upset, and I kept thinking like, I'm going to throw up, and I got really nervous about him going. And so I asked him, I said, I was like, please don't go. Please don't go. And he was like, what? But it's $100, and I'm like, please don't go. I have a terrible feeling about this. And I'm sure you guys have had terrible feelings about things too, and I just think that's your angel's way of saying, hey, time out, be careful. So he did not go that night. He's like, all right, she's all worked up about this. Let's, and so he didn't go. And we found out the next day that there was a shooting that night, right where he would have been.
Whoa.
So he pretty much after that, he's like, okay, whatever you say, dear. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he didn't go.
Yeah. I'm so happy he's here. Yeah.
So then you've had a little bit about your children. Ty is the oldest.
Yep.
Jordan, second.
Kids.
Mitch, youngest.
Yep.
So how have your gifts positively affected your kids?
Well, they're all weird like I am.
They're all mega talented. Good kids.
I think they're all intuitive. I think each one of them has different gifts that I have seen, but they haven't stepped into it yet. And there's time. Look, this just all happened for me within the last 10 years of going, oh, hey, I can do this thing. Do you want to hear? But again, I think that was part of our environment right now, being more open to alternative. And so
but they've all been so accepting, and
oh my gosh, yeah.
Your biggest champions and cheerleaders.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you've also been able to do Reiki on them, to help if they're not feeling good or stressed out. So they have definitely felt the good.
Yeah. And the massage therapist really understands the Reiki.
Yeah.
So he is a Reiki master to be.
Yeah. He's got to tap into that.
That's her guy. So.
Yeah. Very much so right now. I think on the medical therapeutic side of
Yeah.
things. That has been on the receiving end of Reiki and
Right.
giving you some supplies for that too, I believe, right? Table
Yeah.
and stuff.
Massage table. Woo.
Yeah.
So, but then one of the neatest things that has happened is that I had a friend who I love dearly, and she and I have now said that we're sisters. But that years ago, she found something, she had something that she had just been diagnosed with. And I immediately start hearing things, and I was like, wow, okay. And I came home and I said my prayers and I did my meditation, and I was thinking about her, and I heard, tell her, you're going to be fine. It's just a bump in the road.
Mhm.
And I go, no way. This is a medical diagnosis. I've worked in healthcare for years, not a practitioner,
Yeah.
office person only, but I'm in that environment. And I was like, no, that's a medical diagnosis. I'm not going to say you're going to be okay. Excuse me. And I heard it again. And it was, tell her you're going to be okay. It's just a bump in the road. And I'm still going, nope.
How's that worked out for you?
So I have learned to just go ahead and listen to spirit, because they know better than I do. They know all the circumstances. I don't. So I end up going back into work the next day, and I said, well, I don't know if you believe this or not. I said, but I got a message for you, and I'd like to tell it to you, but I'm really scared. And she's so loving and she's so kind,
Mhm.
and I love her. And she said, well, of course I want to hear it. Of course. So I said, well, your angels want you to know you're going to be okay. It's just a bump in the road. And she's like, well, I hope so. And I go, God, I hope so too. You know, I was like, well, oh my God, you guys, like, what if I'm wrong? You know, that's, oh my gosh. So what ends up happening is she goes and meets with the doctor, this new doctor. And yeah, she came to me and she said, so I met with a doctor, and I was like, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh, oh my gosh, and I'm like, everything in me is going, oh no, what? And she said, the weirdest thing happened, and she said, he looked at me and he said, don't even worry about this. It's just a bump in the road.
He said those words.
And she said that he said it the exact same words in the exact same way that I said it.
Whoa.
So because of her, I started going, hey, there is more to this than just I always feel connected feeling. There are messages for other people, and it's kind of selfish for me to keep that to myself. So she's the first person that I read, told her about a couple of beloved aunts. And yeah, but because of my Paula,
Shout out Paula.
The whole rest of this world has opened. And I'm actually able to help deliver messages.
So she was the first.
She was the first.
Wow, how special.
Yeah, she's the best. But I think it takes love and encouragement, and because, you guys, I mean, man, was I stepping out of my comfort zone.
Oh, I'm sure.
By saying, you're going to be fine. It's just a bump in the road.
And you don't know how they're going to react. And that can seem like you are downplaying what's going on when you were really just trying to, make you feel better.
This is what the other side is saying. So, and I say the other side, but that sounds creepy, and it's not creepy.
It's more like side by side.
It's just, yes, because we both grew up in the church. It's made to feel like as if heaven is way up there in the stars. And heaven,
like unreachable,
isn't. Yes, heaven is not some faraway place. And I started saying, heaven is not that far away. Heaven is 3 feet away from you. 3 feet away
Hi
from you. So, but seriously, and to me, that gave me the visual that heaven is right here, that my mom is right here, that my grandmothers, my grandfather, they're right here. Not like I have to look up at the stars and the moon, although I love the stars and the moon, love the moon. But they're not so far removed. And I think that helps with our grief too, that they may be gone physically, but physics tells us that everything is energy and energy cannot die. So this thing that we call death is just transition. It's just a change. And so one of the neat things that I do is I can hear, and I'm like a radio antenna, and I get the frequencies, and I can, I get the messages, and I can hear and I can see and things like that. But what I say is that just because they don't have a voice box anymore, just because they can't reach out and hold your hand anymore, doesn't mean they don't exist. They do. I can hear it, and so can you if you listen with your heart. So
that does help with grief, because like you said, you feel so far away, and it's just that you can't, see their full shape with the naked eye.
Right.
But if you open yourself up, especially, open your heart and your mind, you can actually feel them, and you see signs, and it can seem like, that's coincidence. Let me brush that off. But that's not going to make
don't ever do that.
Yeah. It's also not.
That's the other thing I always say. No. And I always say that they work so hard. Imagine you're not physical anymore, but now I have to do things. They work so hard to show you signs that say, I love you, I'm with you, congratulations, happy birthday. They work so hard to put that penny there in your path, or to make that butterfly fly across you, or to have a semi truck drive right by you with their name on it, so don't cheapen it by saying it's just my imagination.
I have never thought of it that way. They have to put in that work as well.
You're welcome.
So then when you acknowledge it and you're like, I saw a sign, and you maybe tell a friend or a family member and how it made you feel, they're in the back, yes, I did it. They saw me.
Yes. Imagine trying to reach somebody who you love with all your heart, and they are torn up. And if I can just give them a hug, if I can just tell them that I'm okay, imagine what you would do for that person. Well, that's what they're doing.
Mind blown.
A whole new world. Yeah.
So when it comes to signs, I've always heard a lot about signs. And when I've had people pass, I've seen change, like a dime or a heads up penny. I've seen a cardinal, and I've seen a ladybug. Those are, I think, some common signs that people claim to see. Are there any universal signs, or is it really specific on that person that has passed?
So it can be both. Sometimes people will say, hey, grandpa, send me a pink elephant.
Oh, okay.
You can get specific. But if you're so busy watching for a pink elephant, you might miss the dimes or the pennies or the cardinal. But sometimes that pink elephant will show up right out of the blue when you're least expecting it, but when you need it the most. So, and there's all kinds of signs. And I think you don't even have to look outside yourself for a sign. I think if you're laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and you're really relaxed, and all of a sudden, do you ever feel like somebody just hugged you, or do you feel like, or you could be, I don't know, you could be walking down the street, or you could be doing chores in the house or whatever. And all of a sudden you feel like I'm not alone, but it's not a creepy feeling. Like,
it's a warm feeling.
It's this beautiful, warm feeling of love. And you have to just acknowledge that. And I think the more you acknowledge it, the more it'll happen.
Mhm.
And that's not like me saying, oh, your mind is playing tricks on you. Now I'm going to start imagining all this stuff. No, I don't imagine
That's
what I
gaslighting
do.
yourself. That's what that is.
We don't want that.
We don't want that.
We don't want that.
No gaslighting.
None. So anyway, so if you guys have questions,
I'm sure there are a lot of, I had a lot of questions at the beginning, you know, and I've learned so much through you. And sometimes I have to tell about my reading.
yeah,
And my story with my
Yeah.
grandfather. But yeah, she can answer lots of questions. So, and no question is like silly or, you know,
no.
too repetitive, because we know the stereotypes, you know, we know
Right.
what's been said. So any sort of myth debunking we can do.
Oh my gosh,
We can
you
do.
just totally reminded me, you guys. Everybody loves the Wizard of Oz, right?
Yes.
No, not me. No, not having it. Oh my God. So when you just said like the stereotypes, I'm sitting here going, yeah, I don't have like a crystal ball that I peer into. Oh my God, that reminded me
Like Oz.
of the Wicked Witch.
When
When that scared me so bad. That scared me so bad. So
the green one.
yes, the
There's
Wicked Witch of the
pink one
West. Yeah.
And the green one. Yeah.
There's the Good Witch. There's Glinda, the Good Witch, which is
She is Glinda. Through and through Glinda.
but the other, no, and I'm no flying monkeys, like no.
Oh no,
things.
those were creepy.
So if you're with me on like really thinking that the Wizard of Oz was creepy, I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Especially the very first. Well, I don't know.
Or
Or
am I-
only the first version, but some parts were very magical and other parts were like creatively creepy.
Creepy is all get out.
Yeah.
No flying monkeys, no weird evil trees,
No witches.
no witches.
No crystal balls. Except maybe
But
for actual crystals.
I do have beautiful.
Yeah, we got to do that tour.
One day we'll do the tour.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
So glad you could join us in the Zen Den, and hope you didn't hear the bird screaming too loud in the background.
We got 2 dogs in here. We have a bird.
Yeah, he's a conure and he gets really loud, but we kept going. So this is just us. We're gonna keep it real and really not gonna edit much.
Yeah. So bear with us.
Yeah.
We've
We're
never
fabulous. What else is there?
Yeah.
So thank you for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. And you can reach me at militarymedium.net, not .com, militarymedium.net. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and
All the platforms.
yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
You'll find me.
Check out the website if you want to inquire about her services.
Getting a reading, and we do readings by Zoom. I am international. I've done readings for people in other countries. I've done people in South America, Canada. So
No limitations.
the UK. Yeah, no limitations. It's fine. We can do it.
Yay.
So thank you guys. We
Bye.
appreciate it.
See you next time.